Did you know Japan had a secret plan to invade Australia in World War II? This isn't fiction, it nearly happened. You probably learned about Pearl Harbor, D-Day, maybe even the Battle of Stalingrad, but the Pacific War's southern front, that often gets relegated to a historical footnote, but Australia faced a very real, very terrifying threat. Today, we're diving into how close Australia came to becoming a major battleground. We'll explore the plans, the attacks, and the incredible what-ifs that shaped Australia's war experience. It's a story of near misses, strategic blunders, and the resilience of a nation. This isn't just about dusty old documents, it's about understanding the precariousness of history. So grab your metaphorical slouch hat because we're uncovering a chapter of World War II that deserves to be known. Let's get started. Picture this, World War II is raging and Japan isn't just about Australia, they're drafting plans, a serious strategic consideration. This wasn't just an idea, it was Operation FS. The plan? Isolate Australia, cutting its lifeline to American aid. Audacious, right? Japan had invaded New Guinea, placing their forces perilously close to Australia's northern shores. Chapter 4. Darwin's Pearl Harbor. February 1942, Darwin, Australia's northern gateway, faced a brutal aerial assault. Twice the bomb tonnage of Pearl Harbor rained down. Think about that. Chapter 5. A Nation in Shock. The bombing of Darwin wasn't minor, it was devastating. Over 230 perished, and the attack sent shockwaves across the nation. Coordinated carnage from the skies. Imagine 100 Japanese planes descending in coordinated waves. Their targets? Not just military assets, but civilian infrastructure, terrifyingly precise. The terror spread beyond Darwin. Japan's air raids hit Broome, Townsville, Catherine and Port Hedland, a relentless campaign across northern Australia. Between 1942 and 43, northern Australia faced 97 Japanese air raids, a constant reminder of the looming threat. Japan aimed to cripple Australia's defence, forcing either a full surrender or complete isolation. Early in the war, Japan's naval dominance in the Pacific was undeniable. This made an Australian invasion seem not just possible, but probable. Like, share and subscribe for more unbelievable facts every week. The Imperial Japanese Navy, emboldened by early victories, proposed a full-scale invasion of Australia, targeting Queensland and New South Wales. Wild, right? The Japanese army pumped the brakes. Australia's vastness and challenging terrain made them say, "Whoa, this is a logistical nightmare." Instead of a direct invasion, Japan aimed to isolate Australia by seizing key Pacific islands, cutting it off from Allied support. Japan invaded and brutally occupied Timor and New Guinea, positioning troops just 500 kilometers from Australia. The threat was real. The Great Fear of Allied Fortitude. Allied intelligence, sifting through reports, became convinced an invasion was imminent. 1942 became a year of profound fear in Australia. How do you prepare for an invasion? The Australian government planned guerrilla warfare, constructing hidden bunkers for resistance fighters. It proposed abandoning northern Australia if an invasion occurred. Facing this threat, Prime Minister John Curtin turned to the United States, pleading for immediate and substantial military support. In March 1942, US General Douglas MacArthur arrived in Australia to lead Allied operations in the Southwest Pacific. Following MacArthur, American troops poured into Australia, bolstering the continent's defences against Japan. The Battle of the Coral Sea was pivotal in the Pacific theatre. It marked the first aircraft carrier battle, halting the Japanese advance towards Australia. The Battle of the Coral Sea was the first air-sea battle, halting Japan's advance towards Port Moresby. If Japan had captured it, they'd have gained a perfect staging ground for launching direct attacks on Australia's mainland. 1 month after Coral Sea, Midway crippled the Japanese fleet, altering the naval power balance. The defeats at Coral Sea and Midway devastated Japan, forcing them to abandon their ambitious plan for a direct Australian invasion. Japanese submarines prowled Australian waters, a hidden menace sinking Allied ships dangerously close to the coast. In 1942, a Japanese submarine penetrated Sydney Harbour, launching an audacious attack against naval vessels within sight of the city. One Japanese torpedo struck the HMS Kutable, a depot ship, tragically killing 21 unsuspecting sailors resting in their bunks. Japan used midget submarines for a stealthy Sydney Harbour attack. Despite their design, only one escaped. Japanese propaganda posters depicted Australia and other regions under their control, hinting at a broader ambition for all of Oceania. They trained in home defense tactics, and cities enforced strict blackouts to deter nighttime air raids. Civilians were always on alert. Mass evacuations were ordered from Darwin, sending thousands of civilians southward, away from the immediate threat. Imagine seeing signs reading, "If invaded, do not panic. Obey instructions." This was a chilling reminder of potential invasion. To counter the aerial threat, anti-aircraft guns were set up across major Australian cities, barrels pointing skyward in anticipation of enemy bombers. Interestingly, the Japanese Army General Staff believed Australia, with its immense size and challenging geography, could never be fully conquered. Some in the Japanese military considered focusing on strategic coastal points, establishing small bases to control key areas instead of a full-scale invasion. Imagine a central invasion route slicing through Australia's vast outback. The thought alone sends shivers down the spine. Contingency plans for a scorched earth policy were developed. If forced to retreat, Australia would destroy its own infrastructure to deny it to invaders. Its steel production, oil resources, and agricultural output made it a valuable strategic prize for resource-hungry Japan. Capturing key Pacific territories like Hawaii and Australia aimed to break American morale and will to fight. Australian soldiers faced harsh conditions in New Guinea's dense jungles and the challenging Kokoda Track. It was a desperate, bloody struggle along a narrow jungle path, a critical defensive line against the Japanese push south. The relentless Japanese troops, overstretched and undersupplied, were pushed back by Australian and American forces, a crucial victory. It was that close. After defeats in 1943, especially in New Guinea and the Solomons, Japan shifted to a defensive posture, abandoning offensive strategies southward. Many historians now call the bombing of Darwin the Pearl Harbor of Australia, highlighting its profound impact and significance. After the bombing, Australians united. Citizens enlisted, war bond posters were everywhere, and factory workers tirelessly produced munitions, all contributing to a unified war effort. The fear of invasion during World War II led Australia to strengthen its military alliances, especially with the United States. Australia was never invaded, but it came perilously closer than most realized to being a major front line. Phew, that was a whirlwind tour through a part of World War II that often gets overshadowed, wasn't it? 50 facts that paint a vivid picture of a nation under direct threat. From Japanese invasion plans to the bombings of Darwin and submarine attacks in Sydney Harbour, the war was right on Australia's shores. It's a stark reminder that history is full of these what-if moments. The defence of New Guinea, the crucial naval battles of the Coral Sea and Midway, and the logistical challenge of invading a continent prevented a full-scale Japanese occupation. The scars, both physical and psychological, shaped the country for decades. Australia may not have been invaded, but the war knocked on its doorstep. If this blew your mind, hit that like button, share it with your history-loving mates, and subscribe for more shocking truths from the past. We're Factomania, and we believe understanding these near misses helps us appreciate the present. Thanks for watching.